Imagine stepping into a modern supermarket. Aisles upon aisles stretch before you, overflowing with an abundance of products. The sheer volume of choices can be overwhelming. We encounter it in every aspect of our lives: what to wear, what to eat, what to watch. The internet has amplified this phenomenon. This abundance of choices can lead to psychological overwhelm. For generations, choice has been idealized as a symbol of freedom and opportunity. The ability to choose from a wide range of options is often seen as a marker of progress and a cornerstone of individual liberty. We are taught that having more choices empowers us to shape our lives according to our own preferences and desires. This belief is deeply ingrained in our cultural narrative, particularly in Western societies. The pursuit of choice is often equated with the pursuit of happiness. We strive for more options in our careers, our relationships, and our lifestyles, believing that this will ultimately lead to greater fulfillment. The proliferation of choices in the modern world is often presented as a sign of advancement and prosperity. Having access to a wide array of products and services is seen as a testament to our economic progress and technological innovation. However, what if this relentless pursuit of choice has led us down a path of unintended consequences? What if, in our quest for more, we have inadvertently created a culture of overwhelm and dissatisfaction? While having options can be liberating, the constant need to make decisions can take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. Every decision, no matter how small, requires mental energy and effort. As the number of choices increases, so does the cognitive load required to process them. This can lead to a state of decision fatigue, a psychological phenomenon characterized by reduced self-control and an increased tendency to make impulsive or irrational choices. Decision fatigue can manifest in various ways, from difficulty concentrating and making simple decisions to increased irritability and procrastination. It can impact our productivity at work, our relationships with loved ones, and even our ability to make healthy choices for ourselves. The more decisions we have to make, the more susceptible we become to this mental exhaustion. This is particularly problematic in the digital age, where we are constantly bombarded with information and choices. From navigating complex online menus to filtering through endless social media feeds, our brains are working overtime to process the overwhelming amount of stimuli we encounter daily. Psychologist Barry Schwartz, in his seminal work The Paradox of Choice: Why More is Less, argues that while some choice is undoubtedly essential for well-being, an excess of choice can lead to negative consequences. He posits that when faced with too many options, we become overwhelmed, anxious, and ultimately less satisfied with our decisions. Schwartz's research highlights a fundamental paradox. While we may believe that having more choices leads to greater freedom and happiness, the reality is often the opposite. Too much choice can lead to paralysis, regret, and a diminished sense of well-being. This paradox is rooted in our cognitive limitations. Our brains are not wired to effectively process and evaluate an unlimited number of options. When confronted with too many choices, we struggle to make decisions, second-guess ourselves, and feel overwhelmed by the perceived weight of each choice. This can result in a range of negative outcomes, from decreased satisfaction with our choices to increased feelings of regret, anxiety, and even depression. The paradox of choice suggests that in our pursuit of more, we may be inadvertently undermining our own happiness and well-being. Section 5. A crisis of modernity. Choice overload is a societal problem. Our consumerist culture bombards us with messages to buy more and be more. This pursuit of more creates a culture of excess. It costs our well-being and the planet's health. Choice overload reflects societal disconnection and dissatisfaction. The pressure to optimize leaves us unfulfilled. This documentary explores choice overload's impact on our lives. It's time to question if more is always better. The tyranny of too much. The allure of endless options is undeniable, yet Abundance can become a source of anxiety and indecision. The more options we have, the harder it is to choose. Barry Schwartz explores this paradox, challenging the idea that more choice equals a better life. Our brains aren't wired to process unlimited options. We become overwhelmed, paralyzed by fear of making the wrong choice. This leads to decision fatigue, affecting our well-being. Section 2. Paralyzed by possibilities. Imagine standing in the cereal aisle of a supermarket, confronted with a dizzying array of boxes, each promising a unique combination of flavors, textures, and health benefits. What was once a simple task, choosing a breakfast cereal, becomes an exercise in mental gymnastics. Do you prioritize taste or nutrition? Should you opt for a familiar favorite or try something new? The sheer number of options can be paralyzing, leading to a phenomenon known as choice overload. Choice overload occurs when the cognitive effort required to evaluate and compare options exceeds our mental capacity. This can lead to a state of analysis paralysis, where we become so overwhelmed by the decision-making process that we avoid making a choice altogether. We may procrastinate, delay the decision, or even abandon the task entirely, opting for the default option or the status quo, rather than risk making the wrong choice. This paralysis is not limited to trivial decisions like choosing a cereal. It can extend to major life choices such as selecting a career path, a romantic partner, or a place to live. Section 3. The Jam Experiment, Less is More. The famous jam experiment by Sheena Iyengar and Mark Lepper. Researchers set up a tasting booth offering samples of jam, one day 24 flavors, another day 6 flavors. The results were striking. More attention for 24, but more purchases for 6. 30% bought from 6 jam selection. Less is often more. Section 4. The Escalation of Expectations. The paradox of choice is further exacerbated by the rising tide of expectations in modern society. We live in an age of unprecedented access to information, products, and experiences. This abundance has fueled a belief that we should be able to have it all, that we should be able to customize every aspect of our lives to perfectly match our desires. This mentality, while seemingly empowering, can actually lead to a sense of perpetual dissatisfaction. When we believe that the perfect choice is always out there, we become less likely to appreciate the good choices we already have. We fall prey to the grass is always greener syndrome, constantly searching for a better option, a better partner, a better life, even when what we have is perfectly good. This constant striving for an elusive ideal can leave us feeling inadequate, anxious, and ultimately unhappy. The irony is that by lowering our expectations, by embracing the idea of good enough, we can actually increase our overall satisfaction and well-being. Section 1. The Digital Dating Dilemma. Nowhere is the paradox of choice more evident than in the realm of modern romance. The advent of online dating apps has fundamentally transformed the way we seek out and form romantic relationships, creating a digital landscape awash in potential partners. With a few swipes on our smartphones, we can connect with countless individuals, each profile presenting a carefully curated glimpse into their lives, interests, and aspirations. While this might seem like a recipe for romantic success, the reality is far more complex. The sheer volume of options available in the digital dating pool can be overwhelming, leading to a phenomenon known as choice overload in relationships. Just as consumers become paralyzed in the cereal aisle, online daters often find themselves struggling to navigate the abundance of potential partners. The fear of making the wrong choice, of missing out on a better match, can lead to indecision, anxiety, and a diminished capacity for genuine connection. The very tools designed to simplify the search for love can, ironically, make it more elusive. Traditionally, finding a partner involved a more organic process, meeting through mutual friends, social gatherings, or chance encounters. The pool of potential partners was limited by geography, social circles, and happenstance. Online dating has shattered these limitations, creating a seemingly endless buffet of romantic possibilities. While this might seem liberating at first, it can actually undermine our ability to find lasting love. When confronted with an overwhelming number of options, we tend to become more superficial in our criteria, focusing on superficial qualities rather than deeper compatibility. We may find ourselves endlessly swiping through profiles, constantly seeking a better option rather than investing the time and effort required to cultivate a meaningful connection with any one individual. The paradox of choice in love suggests that by limiting our options, by focusing on quality over quantity, we are more likely to find a partner who truly aligns with our values, goals, and desires. It is in the narrowing down, not the endless expansion, that true connection often blossoms. The rise of online dating has changed how we perceive romantic relationships. The idea of finding a soulmate has gained prominence in the digital age. Romantic comedies and fairy tales set unrealistic expectations. Believing in the one makes us reject good partners over minor flaws. Many people could be a great match for us. The key is finding someone compatible and willing to build a strong bond. Online dating's superficiality makes embracing realistic love difficult. True love requires compromise, understanding, and working through challenges together. The constant browsing and evaluating that characterize online dating can take a toll on our mental and emotional well-being. The act of swiping through profiles, judging potential partners based on limited information, can lead to a sense of objectification and detachment. We may find ourselves treating potential partners as commodities to be evaluated and ranked, rather than as complex individuals deserving of respect and consideration. This can create a sense of cynicism and disillusionment, making it difficult to approach dating with an open heart and mind. Furthermore, the rejection inherent in online dating can be particularly bruising. The ease with which we can reject and be rejected in the digital realm can lead to feelings of inadequacy, insecurity, and a diminished sense of self-worth. It is important to remember that rejection in online dating is not necessarily a reflection of our worthiness as individuals, but rather a matter of compatibility and timing. It is essential to develop resilience and self-compassion in order to navigate the emotional ups and downs of online dating without internalizing rejection or losing sight of our own value. Section 5. Reclaiming romance in the age of options. While online dating presents unique challenges, it also offers opportunities for connection and intimacy that were not previously possible. By being mindful of the potential pitfalls of choice overload, we can harness the power of technology to enhance, rather than hinder, our search for love. One key is to approach online dating with a spirit of intentionality and discernment. Rather than mindlessly swiping through profiles, take the time to articulate your values, goals, and non-negotiables in a relationship. Use this self-awareness to guide your search, focusing on quality over quantity and seeking out individuals who align with your core values. It is also crucial to cultivate a healthy relationship with online dating itself. Avoid spending excessive amounts of time browsing profiles or comparing yourself to others. Remember that online dating is just one avenue for meeting people, and prioritize real-life connections and experiences. By being intentional, discerning, and balanced in our approach, we can navigate the digital dating landscape with greater clarity, confidence, and a renewed sense of hope. Section 1. The price of plenty. Our modern world prides itself on abundance. Walk into any shopping mall, browse online retailers, or simply peruse the aisles of a grocery store, and you are met with a dizzying array of choices. Products of every imaginable variety compete for our attention, promising to fulfill our needs, satisfy our desires, and enhance our lives. This abundance, a hallmark of modern consumerism, is often touted as a symbol of progress and freedom. We are told that having more options empowers us as consumers, allowing us to customize our lives to an unprecedented degree. Yet beneath the shiny veneer of this consumerist paradise lies a more complex reality. The constant bombardment of choices, the relentless pressure to choose the best option from a multitude of possibilities, takes a toll on our psychological well-being. This phenomenon, known as decision fatigue, highlights the dark side of consumerism, revealing how the pursuit of more can actually leave us feeling drained, dissatisfied, and ultimately less free. Section 2, From Toothpaste to Televisions, The Tyranny of Trivial Choices. The tyranny of choice extends far beyond major life decisions. In our consumer-driven culture, even the most mundane tasks have become laden with an overwhelming number of options. Consider the simple act of buying toothpaste. Once a straightforward decision, it is now a dizzying exercise in navigating a multitude of brands, formulations, flavors, and purported benefits. Do we prioritize whitening, sensitivity, or cavity protection? Do we opt for a manual or electric toothbrush? The sheer volume of options, each claiming to be superior to the last, can leave us feeling paralyzed and frustrated. This phenomenon extends to countless other consumer products, from coffee makers and laundry detergent to televisions and smartphones. We're constantly bombarded with messages urging us to upgrade, optimize, and refine our choices, creating a sense that our current possessions are never quite good enough. Decision fatigue, the invisible toll of modern life. While each individual choice may seem relatively insignificant, the cumulative effect of navigating countless options throughout the day takes a toll on our cognitive resources. Decision fatigue, a state of mental exhaustion caused by making too many decisions, can have a profound impact on our behavior and well-being. As our cognitive resources become depleted, we become more likely to make impulsive decisions, opting for immediate gratification over long-term goals. We may succumb to tempting treats at the grocery store, overspend on impulse purchases, or make poor choices that undermine our health or finances. The impact of decision fatigue extends beyond our consumer habits. It can affect our relationships, our productivity at work, and even our ability to think clearly and solve problems effectively. In a world that demands constant decision-making, learning to manage decision fatigue is essential for preserving our mental energy, making sound choices, and living a more fulfilling life. The seduction of more. Why are we so susceptible to the allure of more choices? The answer lies in the seductive promise of control and optimization. We are conditioned to believe that having more options empowers us to create the perfect life, tailored precisely to our individual preferences. This belief is reinforced by marketing messages that constantly bombard us with the latest and greatest products, promising to solve our problems, enhance our experiences, and make us happier, healthier, and more fulfilled. The reality, however, is that the pursuit of more often leads to a cycle of dissatisfaction and a relentless yearning for something better. When we believe that the perfect option is always just around the corner, we become less likely to appreciate the good choices we already have. We fall prey to the hedonic treadmill, constantly striving for the next upgrade, the next purchase, the next experience, only to find that the satisfaction we seek remains elusive. Finding freedom in a world of options. Breaking free from the tyranny of choice requires a conscious shift in mindset. It requires recognizing that more is not always better, and that true freedom lies in the ability to make intentional choices that align with our values and priorities. One powerful strategy is to embrace the power of simplification. By consciously reducing the number of decisions we make on a daily basis, we can free up valuable cognitive resources and reduce the overwhelm of decision fatigue. This can involve creating routines and habits that automate everyday choices, setting clear priorities for our time and energy, and learning to say no to options that do not align with our goals. Another key is to cultivate a sense of contentment and gratitude for what we already have. By appreciating the abundance in our lives rather than constantly striving for more, we can break free from the cycle of consumerism and find joy in the present moment. A sea of pills and promises. The global supplement industry is a multi-billion-dollar behemoth, fueled by our insatiable desire for quick fixes, enhanced performance, and longevity. From vitamin and mineral supplements to protein powders, herbal remedies, and nootropics, the shelves of health food stores and online retailers are overflowing with products promising to optimize our health, boost our energy, sharpen our minds, and even turn back the clock on aging. This abundance of choice, while seemingly empowering, masks a more troubling reality. The supplement industry is largely unregulated, leaving consumers vulnerable to misleading claims, ineffective products, and potential health risks. While some supplements can play a beneficial role in addressing nutritional deficiencies or supporting overall health, the vast majority are marketed with exaggerated claims, lacking rigorous scientific evidence to support their purported benefits. This lack of regulation, coupled with our desire for quick and easy solutions to complex health concerns, creates a perfect storm of choice overload, leaving consumers struggling to distinguish between genuine health-promoting products and cleverly marketed placebos. Regulatory gaps and consumer risk. Unlike pharmaceutical drugs, which must undergo rigorous testing and approval processes before they can be marketed to the public, dietary supplements are subject to far less stringent regulations. In the United States, the Food and Drug Administration does not have the authority to review the safety or effectiveness of dietary supplements before they are made available for sale. This means that companies can essentially market products with unsubstantiated claims using vague language like supports immune health or promotes energy levels without providing concrete scientific evidence to back up these assertions. While the FDA can take action against companies that make demonstrably false or misleading claims, the burden of proof often falls on the consumer, who may not have the scientific literacy or resources to distinguish between legitimate health claims and marketing hype. The allure of quick fixes and the illusion of control. The supplement industry thrives on our desire for quick fixes and easy solutions to complex health problems. In a society obsessed with optimization and instant gratification, the idea of swallowing a pill to enhance our cognitive function, boost our metabolism, or achieve a youthful glow is incredibly alluring. We are bombarded with messages that reinforce this narrative, from celebrity endorsements to social media influencers touting the latest miracle supplements. This creates an illusion of control over our health and well-being, a belief that we can achieve optimal health through consumption rather than through sustainable lifestyle changes. The reality, however, is that true health is rarely achieved through quick fixes or magic pills. It is the result of a holistic approach that encompasses factors such as nutrition, exercise, stress management, sleep, and social connection. Section 4. Navigating the Supplement Maze, a guide for the perplexed. Given the lack of regulation and the overwhelming number of choices in the supplement aisle, how can consumers make informed decisions about which products, if any, are right for them? The first step is to approach supplements with a healthy dose of skepticism. Remember that marketing claims are not a substitute for scientific evidence. If a product promises miraculous results, it is essential to question those claims and seek out independent research to support them. Look for supplements that have been tested by reputable third-party organizations such as consumerlab.com or the US Pharmacopoeia, USP. These organizations provide independent verification of supplement quality, purity, and potency, ensuring that the product contains what it claims to contain and that it meets industry standards for safety and manufacturing practices. Section 5. The price of unregulated choice. The unregulated nature of the supplement industry comes at a cost. While many supplements are harmless, some can interact with medications, exacerbate existing health conditions, or cause adverse effects. The lack of oversight creates an environment where potentially dangerous products can slip through the cracks, putting consumers at risk. Furthermore, the overwhelming number of choices and the often misleading marketing claims can lead to confusion, frustration, and a sense of distrust in the healthcare system. Consumers are left to fend for themselves in a sea of pills and promises, struggling to make informed decisions about their health and well-being. It is essential for regulatory bodies to step up and implement stricter guidelines for the supplement industry, ensuring that consumers are protected from misleading claims, ineffective products, and potential health risks. Section 1. The Invisible Hand's Blind Spot. The free market, guided by the invisible hand of supply and demand, is often lauded for its ability to drive innovation, efficiency, and consumer choice. The underlying assumption is that rational consumers acting in their own self-interest will naturally gravitate towards products and services that meet their needs, while companies that fail to deliver value will be weeded out by the forces of competition. This idealized vision, however, often fails to account for the complexities of human behavior and the inherent limitations of unregulated markets. In reality, consumers are not always rational actors, and markets are susceptible to manipulation, misinformation, and the pursuit of profit over consumer well-being. This is particularly true in industries characterized by complex products, asymmetrical information, where sellers know more than buyers, and a high degree of consumer vulnerability. In such cases, the invisible hand can falter, leading to market failures that have significant consequences for individuals and society as a whole. The proliferation of choice overload, fueled by unregulated markets that prioritize profit over consumer well-being, is a prime example of such a failure. When free markets fail, the case for regulation. Government regulation, often viewed with suspicion by proponents of free market ideology, plays a crucial role in protecting consumers, ensuring fair competition, and mitigating the negative consequences of market failures. While excessive regulation can stifle innovation and create unnecessary burdens for businesses, well-designed regulations serve as essential safeguards, establishing a level playing field for businesses and empowering consumers to make informed decisions. In the context of choice overload, government regulation can play a vital role in curbing misleading advertising practices, ensuring product safety and efficacy, and providing consumers with clear, accurate information to navigate complex choices. By setting standards, enforcing compliance, and holding companies accountable for their actions, regulations can help to mitigate the negative consequences of choice overload, protecting consumers from harm and promoting a more ethical and sustainable marketplace. The supplement industry, a case study in unchecked choice. The supplement industry, as explored earlier, provides a stark illustration of the dangers of unchecked choice and the urgent need for more effective government regulation. The lack of pre-market approval for dietary supplements, coupled with lax enforcement of existing regulations, has created an environment where companies can market products with unsubstantiated claims, putting consumers at risk of harm. While some argue that consumers should bear the responsibility for researching supplements and making informed choices, this ignores the realities of information asymmetry and the persuasive power of marketing. Consumers are often bombarded with conflicting information, making it difficult to distinguish between legitimate health claims and marketing hype. Furthermore, many consumers lack the scientific literacy to critically evaluate research studies or understand the potential risks and interactions associated with different supplements. This is precisely where government regulation is essential to level the playing field, protect consumers from harm, and ensure that the supplement industry operates in a manner that promotes public health rather than corporate profits. Beyond supplements, the broader landscape of regulatory gaps. The challenges posed by choice overload extend far beyond the supplement industry, permeating numerous sectors of the modern economy. From financial products and insurance plans to telecommunications packages and energy tariffs, consumers are increasingly confronted with a bewildering array of choices, often with opaque pricing structures, complex terms and conditions, and hidden fees. The digital realm, in particular, presents new challenges for consumer protection. The rise of online platforms, e-commerce, and personalized advertising has created unprecedented opportunities for data collection, targeted marketing, and the manipulation of choice architectures. Consumers are often nudged towards choices that benefit companies rather than themselves through the use of dark patterns, user interface designs that exploit cognitive biases, default settings that favor specific products or services, and the use of algorithms that personalize recommendations based on past behavior rather than actual needs or preferences. Addressing these challenges requires a proactive approach to regulation, one that anticipates emerging trends, adapts to the evolving digital landscape, and prioritizes consumer well-being in the face of rapidly changing technologies and business models. Section 5, Reclaiming Consumer Agency, a call for transparency and accountability. The proliferation of choice overload is not an insurmountable problem. By acknowledging the limitations of unregulated markets, embracing the role of government in protecting consumers, and fostering a culture of transparency and accountability, we can create a marketplace that empowers consumers rather than overwhelming them. This requires a multifaceted approach that includes strengthening consumer protection agencies, empowering them with the resources and authority to effectively regulate industries prone to choice overload, and promoting media literacy to help consumers become more discerning consumers of information and advertising. It also requires businesses to embrace ethical marketing practices, prioritize transparency in product labeling and pricing, and resist the temptation to exploit consumer confusion for profit. Ultimately, reclaiming consumer agency in the age of choice overload requires a collective effort, a recognition that the pursuit of a more just and equitable marketplace is a shared responsibility that benefits businesses, consumers, and society as a whole. Section 1, the burden of endless decisions. The modern world prides itself on offering limitless choices, yet this very abundance comes at a price. While we may revel in the freedom to customize every aspect of our lives, from the coffee we drink to the partners we choose, the constant need to make decisions, even seemingly trivial ones, takes a toll on our mental well-being. Each decision, no matter how small, requires cognitive effort. We weigh options, analyze potential outcomes, and grapple with the fear of making the wrong choice. As the number of decisions we face each day multiplies, our cognitive resources become depleted, leaving us vulnerable to a range of psychological consequences. This phenomenon, known as decision fatigue, is not merely a matter of feeling tired or overwhelmed. It represents a genuine depletion of our mental energy, impacting our ability to think clearly, regulate our emotions, and make sound judgments. The constant barrage of choices, rather than empowering us, can leave us feeling drained, anxious, and ultimately less in control of our own lives. Decision fatigue, while often dismissed as a modern-day malady, is a serious psychological phenomenon with far-reaching implications for our mental health. As our cognitive resources dwindle, we become more susceptible to impulsive behaviors, poor judgment, and difficulty regulating our emotions. This can manifest in a variety of ways, from overeating and making rash financial decisions to increased irritability, difficulty concentrating, and a diminished capacity for empathy. Research has linked decision fatigue to a range of mental health issues, including anxiety, depression, and insomnia. The constant pressure to make the right choices, coupled with the fear of missing out on better options, can contribute to a sense of chronic stress and dissatisfaction, undermining our overall well-being. From choice to control, the illusion of agency. The modern obsession with choice is often framed as a quest for control. We are told that having more options empowers us to design our ideal lives, tailored precisely to our individual preferences. However, this promise of control can quickly morph into an illusion, a relentless pursuit of an unattainable ideal that leaves us feeling perpetually inadequate and dissatisfied. The sheer volume of choices, rather than enhancing our sense of agency, can actually undermine it, leading to a sense of paralysis, overwhelm, and ultimately, a diminished sense of control over our own lives. This paradox highlights the importance of distinguishing between genuine agency, which stems from making conscious, value-driven choices, and the illusion of control that often accompanies an abundance of superficial options. The social media effect: comparison, competition, and the erosion of self-worth. Social media, while often touted for its ability to connect us, has become a breeding ground for choice overload and its accompanying psychological toll. Platforms like Instagram and Facebook bombard us with curated images of seemingly perfect lives, showcasing an endless parade of exotic vacations, picture-perfect families, and enviable accomplishments. This constant exposure to idealized versions of reality fuels a culture of comparison and competition, leading us to question our own choices, our own accomplishments, and ultimately our own self-worth. The illusion of choice is amplified in the digital realm, where we are constantly presented with curated versions of other people's lives, reinforcing the belief that happiness, success, and fulfillment are merely a matter of making the right choices. Finding stillness in the age of overwhelm. In a world defined by endless options and the relentless pursuit of more, finding psychological respite requires a conscious effort to cultivate stillness, simplify our lives, and reconnect with our core values. This means resisting the urge to constantly optimize and upgrade, embracing the beauty of good enough and finding joy in the present moment rather than perpetually chasing after an elusive future ideal. It means setting boundaries with technology, carving out time for reflection and contemplation, and prioritizing experiences that nourish our souls, rather than simply adding to the ever-growing list of choices we feel compelled to make. Ultimately, reclaiming our psychological well-being in the age of choice overload requires a fundamental shift in perspective, a recognition that true freedom and fulfillment lie not in an abundance of options, but in the ability to make conscious, intentional choices that align with our values and bring us genuine joy. Our journey through the overwhelming landscape of choice overload has revealed a profound truth. The abundance of the modern world, while offering the allure of freedom and control, often comes at the expense of our well-being. The constant barrage of choices, the relentless pressure to optimize every aspect of our lives, and the fear of missing out on better options can leave us feeling drained, anxious, and disconnected from what truly matters. Reclaiming our lives from the grip of choice overload begins with reclaiming our attention. In a world saturated with distractions, where our senses are constantly bombarded with stimuli vying for our attention, learning to focus, to be present in the moment, is an act of rebellion. It is a declaration that our time, our energy, and our mental well-being are precious resources, not to be squandered on an endless pursuit of more. The antidote to choice overload is not to seek out even more options, but to embrace the power of less. Simplicity, often misconstrued as deprivation or a lack of ambition, is in reality a pathway to greater freedom, clarity, and joy. When we consciously choose to simplify our lives, to declutter our physical spaces, our digital lives, and our minds, we create space for what truly matters. We free ourselves from the tyranny of trivial choices, the endless cycle of upgrading and optimizing, and the nagging feeling that we are always one purchase, one experience, one achievement away from true happiness. Simplicity is not about deprivation, but about intentionality. It's about making conscious choices that align with our values, our priorities, and our deepest desires for how we want to live our lives. Transitioning from a state of choice overload to one of decision clarity requires adopting practical strategies that empower us to navigate the modern world with greater intentionality and ease. Start by identifying the areas of your life where you feel most overwhelmed by choices. Is it the endless scroll of social media, the overwhelming number of options at the grocery store, the pressure to say yes to every social invitation? Once you've identified your choice hotspots, experiment with strategies to simplify these areas. Create morning and evening routines to automate daily decisions. Set boundaries with technology. Curate your social media feeds to reduce noise and comparison. And practice saying no to commitments that drain your energy or detract from your priorities. Remember, simplifying your life is not about deprivation, but about creating space for what truly matters. The ultimate antidote to choice overload is not a set of strategies or techniques, but a fundamental shift in perspective, a rediscovery of contentment. In a culture that constantly tells us that we need more, that we should always be striving for the next best thing, contentment can feel like a radical act. Yet, it is in this space of acceptance, of gratitude for what we already have, that true fulfillment resides. Contentment is not about settling or becoming complacent. It is about recognizing the abundance in our lives, appreciating the good choices we have already made, and finding joy in the present moment rather than perpetually chasing after an elusive future ideal. It is about embracing the beauty of enough and recognizing that true happiness comes not from accumulating more, but from cultivating a deep sense of gratitude, purpose, and connection in our lives.